Okay, so it looks like we've started here. So essentially what we want to do is we have an assignment which is essentially going to demonstrate some of the basics like do while loops and also encapsulation, especially getters and setters. So what we want to do is we want to sort of access the whole screen in this case, and we're going to have Eclipse on the left-hand side, and we're going to have the PDF from which the assignment or which actually has the assignment. And what we're going to do is we're going to read some of these requirements and translate them into code, right? So here, I mean, from here to here is sort of like the class, what's going to be in the class called bag apparently, right? Which I've already done. And the rest will essentially be what we're going to have in the main method, right? And so we have some pseudocode written here for us, which we can then translate into proper code. Now, this shouldn't be too hard. It's just sort of following directions here. But by the end of it, hopefully we have a working program. So first and foremost, it seems like, so we have a class, right? It's called bag. The access modifier is public, which I have. And then we have instance variables. It seems like we have three, right? Each has a name, an access modifier, and a data type. So for the name, it seems like for the first, so first let's work with the data type, just because that's the first thing we're going to be typing, right? So we have one string and we have two doubles, it seems, right? So we have one string here and we have two doubles. So let's start by sort of making that. Let's manifest that into our program. So we have one string, and again, they're both. It seems like they're both private. It seems like they're all private, right? So we have three private variables. One is a string, and let's see here. So we have another private variable, which is a double. Okay, and we have one more, which is essentially the same thing. That's also a double. Now, these are obviously going to have names, right? Otherwise, what separates private double on line 6 from private double on line 7? So the name for the one with the string is essentially going to be called name. So I guess that sort of keeps track of the name. Now, we don't have to know why or what's happening. I think we just have to sort of copy down the requirements. And it seems like here we have an access modifier, which is private. We've done that, and we have a string. Awesome. So the other one is current weight. So this one is sort of keeping track of current weight, right? And for this one, it seems like this is keeping track of the maximum weight. So that's going to be maximum weight. So we have our instance variables, and after this, we're sort of given a constructor or constructors, and we have only one constructor here, and that's going to be called bag. And that's sort of conventional. I mean, it's not only conventional; it's actually required. You want to have your constructor sort of match the name of your class, right? Now, the access modifier is public. That's completely fine. And we're taking in no parameters, so it's a default constructor. It sets the value of the instance variable name to an empty string, the value of the instance variable current weight to 0, 0, and maximum weight to 5.0. So our name is going to be equal to an empty string, right? And let's see, we will have our name to an empty string. We're going to have current weight equal to 0.0. That's a double, of course. And we'll have maximum height equal to, it seems like we're going to get 5, or maximum weight, we're going to have 5.0. That's our maximum weight. Okay, it's our maximum weight, we can't change it. So then we have a couple methods, right? And so that we're really following that pattern where within a class we have instance variables, constructors, and methods. So here we have our first method, which is called set name. It's going to be public, so it's public. Is it static? It's not static because it's sort of tied down to an object. It's a non-static method. That's what we're doing. We're creating non-static methods. So it's going to be public. It's going to be void. It's not going to return anything. It seems like it's just going to set the name. So in this case, it's really a setter, right? And what we're doing is we're going to pass in a parameter of new name, right? That's going to be a string. And this new name is essentially going to be what is sort of a placeholder for what the user could enter. Later on, we're going to pass what the user enters, and that's going to be the name. So here it says, so public void set name string new name, right? That's that's where we've gotten. And then we set the value of the instance variable name, which is essentially the name that's sort of highlighted on the class level. This is accessible to each and every method. And that would essentially be set to instance variable name to new name. So the name that they enter, or the name of the bag, will essentially be equated to the name that they enter, given that the name they enter is sort of going to be passed in the parameters of this method, which is responsible for setting the name, and that's exactly what's happening. We're not returning the name, we're just setting the name. We're going to have a getter to actually return the name here. So it sets the value of the instance variable name to new name. We've done that, right? So now we have another method here. Okay, we have another method. So this one is get name. So we've set it here. Now we're going to get it here. So that's going to be public. Now, since we're going to return something, that's what getters are supposed to do. They're supposed to return. Essentially, they're supposed to return what was set. And so essentially, we're going to, since we're returning a name, that's going to be a string. And so we essentially public string. Let's see, we're going to say get name, right? We're not going to pass a parameter because, again, we're just returning it, right? We're just returning name after all those modifications were made. So it sets the name, it makes a modification to the name variable for the particular object, and then it essentially just returns whatever was made or after those modifications, right? And then it returns the value of the instance variable name, which is what we've done. So now, I mean, we have something else, right? And this is, I guess, this is a little more complex. It says, well, you're going to have to have a void public method, which essentially is called add item. Okay, so we have a public void method, which is called add item. And essentially what that does is it takes a parameter called new weight. So that's going to be a double just because we're talking about weight. And we know that when we're talking about weight, we're most likely talking about doubles, right? Or floating points or decimals, what have you. And so essentially what happens after we pass that parameter is it sets the value of the instance variable current weight equal to the value of current weight plus the value of new weight. So it sets the value of the instance variable current weight. So current weight, this is what we're doing. We're saying current weight is equal to the value, and this is equal to the value of current weight. So it's equal, current weight is equal to the value of current weight plus the value of new weight, or rather the weight that we just entered, right? Plus the value of new weight. Okay, so that's what we're doing, right? We set current weight equal to current weight plus new weight, and we do that only if the value of new weight is greater than 0. So essentially, we want to do this on line 27. That's what we want to do, but we only do that if the value of new weight is essentially greater than 0, and there's an and here as well, and if the value of current weight, okay, so and if the value of current weight plus the value of new weight, okay, so that's plus the value of the new weight is less than or equal to, okay, is less than or equal to the value of the instance variable maximum weight. Okay, so the value of the instance variable, value of new weight is less than or equal to the value of the instance variable maximum weight. Okay, so that's what we're doing, right? Okay, so I guess that's really all we're doing. So, I mean, if this is satisfied, then and only then are we going to set current weight equal to current weight plus new weight. If new weight is greater than 0 and current weight plus new weight is less than or equal to maximum weight. In this case, what we often want to do is we want to sort of add these parentheses here to sort of make clear that this is actually these two are being added and then resolved, right? And so now that we've done this, let's see here. Let's see, so. I guess that's sort of causing us problems, right? Sort of making this conjunction here. Okay, so I guess that would work more or less the same way. Let's see here. I'm getting an error. Let me try this again. Excellent. So now, now that we can move on to the next method here, it essentially says get current weight. So this is a getter, right? So this is a public double. It's a public double getter method, which is just getting the current weight. So public double get current weight, and it doesn't pass anything. It just returns exactly what it's specifying. We're returning current weight. And so we're getting an error here, probably because of some parentheses issues. So this is interesting, right? So we're actually still inside the first, so the first add item method here ends here, right? Or rather it ends here. So we're actually still inside that method there. So you want to be careful with sort of your braces and what you do with them, right? So this would be the proper syntax here, so that we're not sort of merging our methods. And so we've done that, and now we have one more here which says essentially it sets the maximum weight, right? So it's going to be a public, it's going to be void because we're just working with a setter here, and it's going to be called set maximum weight. And in this case, all we're going to do is we are going to, let's see, so its parameters is going to be new maximum weight. That's going to be a string. It's going to be void. It sets the value of the instance variable maximum weight to the value of new maximum weight. So now the class variable maximum weight is set to the new maximum weight, which is whatever the user has entered. And essentially, I mean, that's only under a particular circumstance, right? Let's see why it's giving me an error here. Cannot convert from string to double. So we actually want to specify that we're going to, let's see, so it says we can't, we're not actually working with a string here. We are actually working with a double because we're talking about weight. And so we've done this now, and what we can do after that is says, okay, well, do this, what we're doing on line 37. So we're doing this only if new maximum weight is greater than 0. So if new maximum weight is greater than 0, right? Okay, if new maximum weight is greater than 0, I think there's another compound Boolean expression here, and greater than or equal to the value. So, and greater than or equal to the value of the instance variable current weight. This is just the variable that we're referring to here, current weight. So essentially, and the new maximum weight, right? It's greater than or equal to current weight. And that sort of summarizes our approach there, right? And so I think that sort of summarizes our class section, right? And so just to get a better look at this, what we've done is we've created a bag method, which takes in, or this is a constructor, right? A non-static method which initializes the instance variables, these three, which are all private. One's a string, one's the current weight, one's a maximum weight. Two of them are doubles, one is a string. And then we have a set name, which sets the name they enter to the name that we're referring to on the class variable. And this is just getting that name that we just set, which is just returning that name after the modifications have been made to that variable. And then this is, of course, adding an item, and then we specify the weight of that item. And if this expression is met, or if this compound Boolean expression is met, then we set current weight equal to current weight plus the new weight, and that's just going to sort of add on to the weight inside the bag. Here it says we can set, we're just getting the current weight, whatever that may be. And this is setting the maximum weight if this condition is met. Awesome. So now sort of moving on here, let's see. So it says create a scanner object called keyboard that takes an input from the user. So let's go ahead and do that, right? Let's go ahead and create a scanner called data equals new scanner, set to system.in, or getting its input from system.in. And essentially after that, what we're doing now is we're saying create an object of the bag class and refer to this object as my bag. So create an object of the bag class. So we refer to the class name, which is bag, and we're going to create a new reference, which is called my bag, equals new, and then the name of the class, or rather the constructor that's condensed within the class. Then it says declare a variable called option of type int. So int option, we're not going to initialize it because it only says declare. And then it says open a do while loop. So in a do while loop, we have do, and then we have block of code, right, which is inside of here. And then it's while something, some condition, and then we put a semicolon. So that's sort of the syntax there. So it's telling us to prompt the user to pick one of the following options. So let's go ahead and do that. Enter one of the following options. And let me just go ahead and print out sort of a line to get some space here. Awesome. So now what we're doing is we're prompting the user to pick one of the following options. So it says press 1 to change the name of the bag, right? So system.out.print, system.out.print. Press 1 to change the name of the bag. Okay. And so we have more of these print statements. So this is press 1 to change the name of the bag, press 2 to do what? So 2 to add the name, or add the name of the bag, or so add an item to the bag, right? So to add an item to the bag. Okay, and then we have 3, which would essentially just change the maximum weight of the bag. 3 to change the maximum weight of the bag. And then 4, right? So 4 is essentially saying to view all information about the bag. Okay, and then it says 5 to end the program, or so 5 is to end the program, right? So 5 to end the program. Awesome. And so I guess this one is just sort of redundant here. And so I guess we're going to keep doing what's inside this until the option is equal to 5. But let's just read some of the other directions that we have here. So it says save the user's input into the option variable. So that would just be, we already have option as a variable here, equals data.next integer is going to take in the next integer that they enter. And then it says here, if the user picks option 1, okay, so this is where our if statements sort of begin. So it says if the user, so if their option is equal to 1, we'll do something, right? Otherwise, if the option is equal to 2, we'll do something. And we'll sort of repeat that here. If the option is equal to 3, we'll do something as well. And if the option is equal to 4, we'll do something as well. And if the option is equal to 5, because there are 5 options, right? And so if the option is equal to 5, we'll do something as well. So at this point, what we can do is we can do if option is equal to 1, we'll do what? Well, it says press 1 to change the name of the bag. So if the user picks option 1, prompt the user for the name of the bag, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. What is the name of the bag? Okay. And then it says, then save the name of the bag in a variable called new name. So that's essentially saying, well, give them the option to actually enter. And whatever they enter is essentially going to be stored in string new name, right? And then change the name of the bag to new name. So the name of the bag at the current moment, if we were to do my bag dot name, right, and sort of print this out, doing system.out.println, we would just get null because it's not set to anything. But recall that we actually have a setter which actually sets the name, and we can get the name if we want to. So we can actually set the name, right? So we can do my bag dot set name, and that can essentially take in new name, which was just specified, and that's going to be equal to what the user enters. Excellent. So at this point, we can move on here. It says, otherwise, if the user picks option 2, prompt the user for the weight of the item and save the weight of the item in a variable called new weight. So here we can just ask them, what is the name of the item? Okay, and we're going to save that. We're going to save int or double new weight equals data dot next double. Okay, and so that's all we do. I think we said, so we save the weight of the item in a variable called new weight, and then add the new item to the bag. So recall that we actually have a method which adds the item to the bag. Add item is waiting for any variable which is a double, right? And so here, what we can do is we can just say, well, my bag dot add item, and then we can just say, we can add any double, which would be new weight in this case, because that's what they entered, right? Awesome. So at this point, we've added a new item, and we're on to option 3. Option 3 says, prompt the user for the new maximum weight of the bag and save the new maximum weight in a variable called new weight. So we can do that, right? We can say, well, what is the new weight of the bag? Okay, or rather, let's just say, what is the weight of the bag, right? First time they enter it, or we could just say new. It's fine. And so we're going to have a double. It's going to be called new weight. I think we already had enough. Okay, so new item weight. Let's see. So we're actually having a conflict here, right? Let's just say new item weight, right? We could do that. New item weight. And this one can be new weight equals data dot next double, right? Okay. And we save that into a variable called new weight, and then so now what we're doing in option 3 is we're saying, well, called maximum, so it's called new maximum weight. Okay, so that's actually not a conflict. So let's just go ahead and undo some things here. And so new weight is fine here. This is going to be called new maximum weight equals data dot next double. Okay. And after that, I think we're done for option 3. Change the maximum weight of the bag to new maximum weight. So I think we have a setter which can actually change what they entered to. So it would be my bag dot new dot set maximum weight, right? Let's see if that's valid here. Do we have a setter for new maximum weight? Doesn't seem like we do. So it's asking us to change the maximum weight of the bag to new maximum weight. So we actually don't have, so it's set maximum weight, that's what it's called. Okay, so we set the maximum weight and we enter in any double, and that would be the maximum weight, set maximum weight. And we're going to enter new maximum weight. And that would essentially set the maximum weight of the bag. Now option 4 just says, else if the user picks option 4, display to the screen, the current weight of the bag, the maximum weight of the bag, and the name of the bag. So let's just go ahead and do this systematically here. We can just say the name is, we can't just say name, right? Because we really don't know what we're referring to. And we can't say, we could say name, but it's not, it's not public, right? It's private, so we actually can't access it. And we can't say mybag.name. Actually, that would be the proper way to do it. But we can't do mybag.name because, again, it's private. So we actually have to do mybag.getName. So because we already have a getter in place to get the name. So we do mybag.getName. And then we would do the same thing for sort of the current weight, right? mybag.currentWeight. And that would just be get, we would get the current weight. We can't just put current weight down like that. Semicolon. Okay. So now what we can do for the last one here is we can sort of just say, so we wanted the maximum weight as well, right? Maximum weight. mybag dot maximum weight. We would be getting the maximum weight, so we actually have to prefix it with get, right? Let's see here. So apparently it's not letting us get the maximum weight, and it's not letting us do that because get maximum weight is undefined for the type bag. So we have set maximum weight, right? I know we have set maximum weight. Do we have get maximum weight? Well, it's asking us for the maximum weight, so obviously we would need something which would get the maximum weight, right? Let's go back in the methods here and see if we missed anything. So yeah, I think we did miss something. We should have gotten the maximum weight. We should have made that a part of our class definition. So it's public. It's going to return a double, and that's just getting the maximum weight, and that's essentially going to just return the maximum weight, which is actually just the class variable here after modifications have been made. And essentially, again, I think we've done the same mistake where we've merged two methods within one. And so what we want to do now is we want to sort of undo that and then paste it outside where it can actually be a valid getter, so to speak, right? And this becomes valid after that. And so now I think we have one more option, right? So it says if their option is equal to 5, I think we display goodbye. And so we can do that. We can just say goodbye, right? How does that sound? And we do this while the option is not equal to 5. Otherwise, that would sort of signal to exit the loop. So while the option does not equal to 5, we'll just keep doing the loop again and again and asking them for these options, and that would update the value, so to speak. Now, if they don't, so if they choose something that's sort of not, if they choose something that's not within the bounds of 1 to 4, we'll just say, we'll print out an error, right? system.out.println, and we're just going to say invalid entry. And we're going to put ERR here to make our error red. Okay. Cool. And so now I think if we test the program here, it should work, right? So we can just say want to change the name of the bag. We can call it Molly. And now we can add an item to the bag, or let's just change the maximum weight, do something random. We can change it to 5.50, so it's just 50. And we can change, let's see, we can view all the information that we currently have. So the name of the bag is Molly, the current weight is 0 because we actually haven't done anything yet. And the maximum weight is 50. And so it keeps doing that until we hit 5, which essentially just says goodbye, and it doesn't execute the do while again. And at this point, let's try entering an invalid. So let's enter a character, right? Or actually, let's enter 7, which is not in the range. It says invalid entry. Enter one of the options. Okay, so it's behaving like we want it to, right? And so I guess that was really the goal here. So this is the program, which I think demonstrates getters and setters to a suitable extent, right? Awesome.